Good morning. Good morning. Hello. All right. So we're going to get into looking at some levels, see where we're at, see where we're opening. So simple respect to VWAP all night. Let's see if that changes into the open. So just getting some charts opened up. Take a look at this real quick. Cool. So we really want to be monitoring whether or not we're going to be holding VWAP into the open. So last night we had a bit of an overnight rally. It held, I mean, what do we test? 846. That's not too bad as a peak. Yeah, that's not too bad. We just need to see whether or not we're going to hold it. We have that overnight gap. We have the new day gap down there. So we want to see if we're going to essentially trade back towards that. And if not, we can just look to, let's see. Essentially, yeah, we'll have a main area of interest down at that new day gap if it happens to trade there. And if not, we'll look for it to hold this VWAP area. The structure ahead of the open isn't too great. Like it's a little bit folded. So there's always that, but cool. So we got about 5 minutes till the open. We'll see if we're going to hold. And if we're able to hold, we'll look to trade back towards that external high. Pre-NFP. So we have bigger news tomorrow. Today might be a slower day considering the fact we gapped up as well. Maybe it's going to move a little bit slower. We'll see. I know a lot of people are going to be antsy, eager just because of the move, but we'll simply just wait for a good setup. So today we'll be doing a giveaway. Get to 25 likes on the stream. We'll go ahead and do that. As it currently stands, we are just a few minutes out of the open, and well, we're going to take it slower today. Nothing too pressing, nothing too urgent on the books. Really just want to see whether or not we're going to hold that gap high. Hey, how's it going, man? Good morning. Welcome into the stream. Just a couple of minutes off the open. We'll see whether or not we are going to hold this upper area. Starting to see some bigger momentum downside right now, especially on our lower time frames. So that's something I'll keep in mind. Yeah, talk about a round trip. Look at this. Look at this rejection of midnight open. Yeah, what a steep rejection. You do have this sweep right here. But man, yeah, this thing's really, really, really weak. All right, 1 minute till the open. So we'll be watching this to see how we react. We want to see whether or not we're going to be holding essentially this last swing low. Like realistically, it could just be a look below and then a rally above. It is pretty heavy though. I'm not gonna lie, it looks pretty heavy at this point. You have this sweep right here. This really kind of sent it lower down here. But the fact that it's like 10 candles in a row to the downside on the 1 minute, it is really kind of suspect, I will say. Yeah, look at that. It's really just expanding into the open. Alrighty, so our goal now will be to see how we're going to react to this. Back into that opening range high. These are quite large candles into the open. Complete round trip so far. Yeah, that is a very, very volatile move. So this is what you call catching a knife. Like, I'm not trying to get involved in this just yet. Yeah, complete deletion. Walked it back completely. Wild. Wild move. Off the open. 0-0 bid. So we'll see if we're going to get a bounce here, but man, what a crazy sell-off. What a crazy sell-off. Quite unfortunate, but we'll see. We'll see. A lot of times these gap lows can hold pretty well. If we start to see movement below this gap low, we do have a huge void here, so I'm not going to try to be doing all that much. So I'll watch for like an inversion right here. Be a very aggressive trade, but if it does set up, it could work well for the upside up to about 780. I'll try it for. Mindful of this being a fair value gap that holds, but we have an area of interest. We have an extreme move. This would be a positioning within the wick. If anything, we know that dips are getting bought pretty aggressively in this market. 97, 62. It'd be something like that. If you get back above this initial gap, then we could look to take the long. We still have 10 minutes on this candle for the 15-minute chart. So it very well could be a fake out. This could be the wick. So we'll watch it. I don't normally like fading extreme weakness like this, but given the location, seems reasonable. It's trying. Probably might not be enough, but we'll see. Yeah, what a heavy move. This thing fell off a cliff. It really is trying. It's just, it's not enough yet. Not enough to bounce. Alrighty, so we just keep watching. There's nothing there. It didn't invert the gap. It didn't come close. It rejected the opening range low. So now we just kind of observe what's going to happen. Big volatile move. Not much for me to do in this move. Man, what a, like it just fell off a cliff. So, oh well. Really just monitoring how we're going to react here. So if it starts to hold, then maybe we have a trade, but it's not holding yet. So there's nothing to do. Could I short here? Sure, I could short here. I could have. That could have been a trade. We have all of this imbalance to fill in, if anything. Just very unfortunate when we do this kind of thing. Very unfortunate. Daily gap low is going to be our main reference for now. See if we can hold this lower end range. Yeah, it really looks like that's going to be the high of day maybe during London. So in that scenario, if this is really going to be the high of day, if this is the push, this is the change in state right here, this is the lower high order block, we do have to consider what could we trade to on the downside. What's the daily really looking like? Ooh, that daily does not look pretty right now. Very possible that is the high of day. It's very possible. However, we do have that one last line of defense, the new day gap. All right, now we're starting to hold below it. So if we stay below this new day gap, we're not going to want to stay looking for longs. If we can manage to hold the bottom of it, this would be the best rubber band opportunity there is. So all about being patient right now. But that could change in a second. So really just in this area. We can find a bid here that's going to potentially run us for new highs. However, it can easily just hold here and then work its way down. We have room to the downside. Very obviously have room to the downside. And what I'm seeing right here, this looks like it's holding below. See this? It looks like it's holding below. It's a little too early to tell for me, but I do think that's kind of what's going on. Okay, we're starting to see some attempt to hold it here at the gap low. But will that be enough? It looks like it wants to, but it's not. It's not ready. It's not ready to hold. So it can easily go another leg lower. Again, this could be the high of day up here. Yeah, this really does look like a nice sell-off. Looks like that could be the high of day. Looks like it wants to short. I I think this might be a short right here. It's hard to tell to where for me. Maybe something like this. Come on. By one tick. Missed it by one tick. Oh boy. Let's see it. I'm gonna let the stop go once it tests the first target. By one tick. Oh, hilarious. Like, how did that not fill? How did that not fill is my question. Yeah, literally by one tick. Or two ticks, sorry. Unreal. Yeah, this thing's gonna get us. Wow. Right here. We timed the move well, it didn't fill the first order, so the stop didn't go in profit. This is annoying. There we are. All right, so we got one target off, one partial off at the low a day. Basically, that 620 area. Now our next target's going to be around 600, maybe 590. I don't know. We'll see. We'll play around with it. We got a nice little rejection candle. So basically, the premise that I was operating under was the idea that this is going to be an order block right here. And then we're going to short for the downside. We're just going to short it for the downside. So far, we've added 39 to 20. That was about 40 bucks right there. So we're up over $200. Yeah, $220 on the day. Next target will be at 590, which will put us up even more. And then we'll let that last runner do its job and just run, right? So the stop is going to be trailed mechanically via prior bar high. This stop hasn't been moved yet. It's just being held by my hand. So once this starts to work, I can let go of the stop. Once we see this candle close lower, I'll let go of the stop so it'll update. I'm just not going to do it just yet. I want to give it a couple seconds. It should still stop me on my last stop location, so if it needs to, right? Once this candle flips bearish and closes towards the prior bar low, I'm going to put it here at the prior bar high. And hopefully we get that push to the downside for that level of interest. Okay, well, it's digging a little deeper. Maybe it'll get the initial stop. Just put it back in place for now. This is why I hate shorting. This is why I hate shorting. I hate shorting. Because you think with this nice candle right here, it should be fine. Should be fine for low momentum. Low Momo. Nothing today, though. That's for sure. Nothing today. Can we get the close lower without taking our stop? Nope. And we're out of that trade. Okay, we're up another probably 40 bucks from that. Yeah, 180 to 230, about 50 bucks from that trade. Quite annoying, but we're going to watch this, see what happens here. We just dug a little deeper than we wanted to see, but it's all good. We could be going for that initial idea of the fake out. We'll see what we got. I'll pull the 5-minute here. It could be setting up for a buy. It could. It could. Or it could just be retesting the order block. Maybe we trailed it too early. It's all good. Either way, we are going to just keep watching price. Good opportunity to view what could happen here. Yeah, maybe this is the fake breakdown for the long. I like the 5-minute hammer that's forming, but I would like a reclaim of the gap low. I think that'd be a good trade, and then a stop at the low. We got a question: what is Nvidia doing? Right? What are all these big names? Or not Nvidia? Sorry, Microsoft. What Microsoft's doing today? Shot in the head. Makes sense. Let's see what Meta is doing. Meta's holding its own, so it's just really Microsoft. People knew Microsoft shouldn't be this expensive. Of course, it's going to fill. All right. Question is whether or not we're getting another opportunity to short, or if it's simply looking for the long setup. We really need this thing to stop bleeding, though. Because Microsoft, look at this, just fell off a cliff. This kind of move is making it very hard to stay in a trade. Major gap up at all-time highs. I think it's a buy. Oh no, sorry. It's a buy right here. Pretty soon. What did I lose? Nothing. Market buy. I think we'll be looking for the long. I need us to reclaim that gap so we could be comfortably long, but we got to look at what we're doing on the 30-second as well. So you have this inversion right here. So we kind of have this little head and shoulders. We can hold and break above the daily gap low. Then it might be a good long. Trade this back towards VWAP, gap high, all these things. Yeah, I really need it above that gap low. Okay, it looks like we're starting to get something. Starting to see something. So we got long on the premise that this is like an inverted head and shoulders. Trying to get one partial off of the swing high right here. So we just get the quick push, couple points. All right, that's the idea. As soon as we get target one off, I will trail in profit. Just making this more of a scalp-based day. We're able to adapt to the rotation from short to long. We'll see if we get the follow through because we are seeing a push. If we get target one off, then we can move our stop into profit. Right now, it's still near the low. $100 on the day for the loss if it happens. And our final target will hold for a runner. I just want this first target off as it falls a couple points short again. Yeah, it's really been one of these days, huh? Cool. We got target one off. Believe it or not. Took it off a couple points shy. But, you know, add 20 points to the D. It's another 40 bucks right there. Yeah, so we're up to 270. And we're just going to keep scalping this thing while it gives us the opportunity. With the final contract, however, we will just hold for the runner. Like, we can try for that, right? I'll try for that with you guys. We're going to just manage this as it works. So we got to our opening range low. This was that prior swing. This was our target. We took off target one right there, basically getting long on the reclaim of the daily gap low. Now I want to see this kind of expand. I want to see this start to expand. I'm okay with the stop being in profit just because we're adding points. So we started the day up $184. Now we're up to 270 and we're just going to continue. So yeah, just really just scalping. This is a really effective way to handle these types of days because honestly, you never know where things are going to kind of pivot and the ranges are quite big. I was able to grab 20 points doing really nothing. Only problem is on a lot of these moves, the stops are so big that you're just going to use a couple micros at times. Give this a low, a couple extra points. So we need this to form the higher low really quickly. We do not want this to dig too deep. Let's see what it is. Just need this to form the higher low. You just don't want it to reject here. Yeah, because if it starts to reject here, we're in the 5-minute fair value gap, which can then be the good short. So we want to be careful of that. We don't want to be overconfident here. It's a counter direction move. Like we're fading the intraday range. We're fading this, but it's because of the location that we're willing to do that. It's not a habit you normally want to make. You don't normally want to fade an intraday sell-off like this, but we'll make an exception because of the gap. We're at the gap low. We just need to reclaim the Asia opening range low. And just respecting it to the downside so far. We just need to see this move higher. See this little bull flag right here. If we get this little breakout right here, this should give us a move back to the daily gap high and maybe to Asia's opening range high. Always level to level. You got to think level to level. Where are these levels going to come into play? How can we potentially adjust for that? And then so forth. Cool. We're starting to see that momentum. This is exactly what we want to see when we're reclaiming a level. Daily gap low, we shot under, saw this inversion, looked at this structure here and said, you know what? This is our little inverted head and shoulders. We're going to go ahead and take it for the break. Took one partial off at the opening range low for Asia. And then from there, we want to see this start to walk itself up to the Asia opening range high. And then from that point on, we will begin to manage it, right? So once this starts to push a little higher, the stop goes like that. And then eventually the stop will go right here and here. And then we'll just keep walking it up, right? We'll just let the market lead the way. Throw up the 30-second chart. We don't need to be too zoomed in on this. This is kind of the range where we're looking at. So this is what you call being in a position of power, right? You're in control. There is nothing the market can do to make me lose in this trade. No matter what, I will win. I have no urgency to adjust the stop loss. I have or widen it. It's just going to simply stay where it's at. Cool. Now we just let this work, right? So you see this 5-minute really starting to expand. We want to reclaim of the daily gap high. And then from there, we can start to see some more momentum. At this point, I'll probably switch to the 1 minute. Yeah, I think the 1 minute's all right for now. We don't want these rejections to hold. We want to see them flip. 36 seconds left in this candle. I want to see this guy flip right here. We'll also note this right here. Bullish order block. We'll also note that fair value gap right there. We have 2 minutes till 10 a.m. This is a moment where we can make a break for the trade. Actually, Parker. Alrighty, so we got to really watch this right here. Yeah, this 5 minute close you want to see stronger. I want to see this close near the highs. 47 seconds left. Let's give it a moment. We want this to close towards the highs. So I think the stop placement's okay. I don't think I need to widen it at all. I think I'm fine. If this trade does not close with this 5 minute near the highs, then I actually kind of want to be out of the trade. You know, I don't actually want to hang in here too long. So anywhere near this in the next 20 seconds, it's a reason to get out. At least in my book, right? That's at least how I'm looking at it. There we are, about to take the trail. Add another $18. Okay, so now we're up to, let's see, 290 on the day. That's cool. We're up an extra $100. We'll watch it right here. We have this fair value gap, but it doesn't necessarily need to hold. This could be the inversion for it to continue lower. I want to see how it respects the gap low. That will really decide what we're going to do here. Just the angle of this is off, right? Harsh sell-off, kind of curled into the lows. Fast reaction back to the swing point. So the question is, are we going to hold here or roll? The 5 minute isn't exactly the most bullish thing. Looks like a bounce into an area where it could reject. So we just keep this in mind. Unless I see some sort of strong reaction to this daily gap, I think I'm kind of over the idea to the upside. Because I don't necessarily just want to get in again and then it just rolls. I don't want to do that. Starting to hold pretty decent so far. Back at that opening range low. If it really does want to hold, we can use this as an order block, just a little bit cleaner, if anything. Trade it back towards midnight open. So I'd be thinking, if we can close strongly above there, We could trade this. Like 700 to 800. I'd do this type of trade. And obviously the last one up here. If it wants to hold, right? If it wants to hold. So we're looking at it. I'm seeing it's respecting this fair value gap. We do have a nice little series of candles just directly above me that we could use as the order block. So if it does set up for that, then I'm okay using that. I'd want to have like an easy target off rip, target something else towards the opening range high. Also use something in here. 50% of this, 721. But again, not too eager just because of where we're at in the structure. If this doesn't want to show any sort of strength here and any sort of resilience, then obviously it's a trade we don't want to be in, which is why the order block is a good framework to use right here. Because if it doesn't prove itself, we're not going to get the momentum to put us in the trade. I'm skeptical to buy it right here because this can invert and you see the 5-minute structure. The 5-minute looks like it's rejecting that upper fair value gap. And frankly, I just don't want to be the first in this trade. However, if it does respect that lower level, then so be it. We do have an SMT to some extent, right? ES is much stronger. ES is at VWAP already. Take a look at ES. You'll see ES is way, way stronger today. So this could be a good indication that we might trade higher. But by itself, I don't think it's the end-all be-all. This looks bullish to me. ES looks bullish. You have the gap right here. You inverted it. Breaker right here. Yeah, this looks really good on ES. Only difference is ES has a different 5-minute. What a good structure here. Wow. $15 looks much different on ES as well. Tagged the gap, held it. NQ on the other hand, struggling. So yeah, maybe we will get that momentum entry. Little bull flag action. Goal would be to break above that order block right there. Use that for the continuation. Take one off at the opening range high. Or the opening gap high. Right there from last night. Hold one through that for that initial high from Asia. Looks like we might get tagged in right here. And then our final target will hold for the highs. I like this greater degree of confluence right here as the order block. So I'll pretty much go right here. We'd like to see some momentum, not just flat out stalling. Could be a fake out. You see this hold and push. Yeah, I just tagged the level that we're going to enter on, and then nothing. So maybe this trade gets cut early. We'll see. I'm a little more impatient with markets like this just because there's so much that can go wrong that you don't need to give it a lot of leeway. You know, like we're just testing that level that triggers my entry and not moving. We want to see this at least push one time. Because once I could get it to push those highs, then we could tighten the risk to right here. And we can hope that this will push towards VWAP. And ES is above VWAP. NQ is below it. Yeah, it's not showing any strength yet. So I was not really eager to get long here. But it's all good. We'll give it some time. Give this a chance to hold. I'm going to watch ES. If ES seems weak, then we might cut it early. Not seen a bid on ES. ES is at VWAP, but we need to see a bounce. All right, this might be a wrap on this. Give it like 5 more seconds. I really don't like this anymore. It really just baited me into this long that I wasn't too eager to take. And now it's kind of pulling back a little bit. So I'm getting close to pulling it, but we'll give it a chance to push the highs. ES is still at VWAP, so that's good. If ES loses VWAP, then I'm out of the trade. Remember, first target's based on that Asia opening range, that gap. There, daily gap high. On any pushback towards our entry price, I will tighten the risk. And a little bit like this. Probably do that already, honestly. It's just not holding. Yeah, it's not holding. I'm out of the trade. It's not holding whatsoever. ES looks like it's about to lose VWAP, so I'm just going to cut it right there. Call it on that trade. We'll evaluate this downside. You know, this is the problem. We're at this point where it can be a swing point here. So the idea is, can we align with the short if that's the case? What's our downside levels? Yeah, we kind of have void down below. We'll try this. Stop sell 2. Yeah. This is a shot. The rotation looks bearish in general. It's hard because some of these longs, it looks like they're setting up because it'll bounce enough, but it might just be an opportunity to get short. So it's probably the last trade right here. I don't want to do too much back and forth. So what I'm doing is basically, now that we are inverting this gap, I'm looking at this as a inversion of that entry. So then I would look for it to then trade towards the lows. Unless it's just going to keep kind of swiping back and forth, which it's possible. Somewhat of a weaker rally in general. But yeah, it's really just going to kind of keep screwing with people. Annoying. Yeah, when this thing starts to overshoot a level and it's not showing any sort of continued momentum, a little sketchy, a little suspect. The idea is if this is not going to work as a long and you see the push here, you can catch the roll over to the lows. But we'll see what this next 5-minute candle gives. I don't really love this long wick here. It looks like it's going to go for my stop once again. Not my favorite. So we gave back, we gave back like $150 on this last trade. We might do the same thing on this one. We'll see. It really is not moving the way that I want it to. Yeah, what is this going on? What's going on here? Give it one last chance to push for these lows. But if this isn't going to work, then we'll really take a second, reassess what's going on. Because to me, it looked like the long's failing at this point. When I see this, it looks like the long's failing. So in my mind, it's okay to go for this. Given the structure, given where we're at, a lower low seems reasonable. How far into this imbalance over here we trade, I have no idea. ES seems resistant. Okay, so we're starting to get a swing high right here. Or not. Really wants to hold that gap low. Man, okay. This is not working the way I wanted to. It's a tricky scenario, right? Because the longs that I was looking at, this would have hit my stop either way. And then now it's like I look for the low because of the structure on the 5-minute, and it just doesn't seem to want to work. So there's definitely something that I'm missing at this point. I'm going to keep an eye on it. Yeah, not the best. It still looks bearish to me. You know, I don't see why we need to bounce so high in here. It looks bearish. It looks like it wants to go for the low. The 5-minute needs to invert this gap right here. ES is underneath VWAP. Okay, that looks okay. All right, we need this 5-minute to close bearish. Give us that topping tail. Break this daily gap low. Okay, that looks okay. You know, not let this go back to the highs. All right, now we're starting to see some momentum. Entry probably could have been better. It still looks like it's going to maybe work. Stop's a little tight. This is just a really, really stubborn level today. This new day gap low. Kind of a sloppy New York session if you really think about it. One push down and then a lot of sideways. Let's see if we get that next leg. Only a little bit after 10, so we're still early in the day. I just need this to start to move. Don't want to see it trade back to the swing. So entry is based on this inversion right here, and it's not really going just yet. We're in 2 contracts. It's like nothing. Range is just big today. Very annoying. Very annoying. So stop needs to be in this area. You can move a little bit. I just need it to have time to roll or not, right? Get this to close a little weaker. That will be a good sign for us. A heavy close on this inside 5-minute candle would be a good sign for us to then roll over on the next candle. Clean up these charts. Man, what a sideways morning. And it still might not even give it to us. That's crazy. I don't think we're getting that move. I think this is going to hold as the low. It's crazy. It's the weakest structure I've seen yet. It just bounces. So give it some time. Let it work. We'll see what happens. ES is below VWAP. NQ is below VWAP. A lower low seems reasonable. All right, back to our entry price. See, we had this initial inversion entry and it kind of just joked us around. We entered a little bit low on that, on this inversion. Now we're going to push for the lows. I have an order at 600 just for the sake of it being a psychological level. That could backfire on me easily, guys. So anytime you're aiming for a target, it's always best to aim for the target, not a price below. So if this comes into the lows and kind of stutters or it's taking its time, we'll adjust that accordingly. ES looks pretty weak. We're below the new day gap low, which in my opinion is a good sign for us. We want to see it push without any real wicks like we're seeing right now. Want to close heavy. Yep, these wicks are really just kind of not my friend right now. Anywho, if you're enjoying the stream, leave a like. Let YouTube know you like the stream so that more people who might like the stream can see the stream. So we're gonna let this rock, let this roll. Let's see if we can get this down to the low a day. If we get down to low a day, I'm gonna ask for you guys to leave a like. Do me a solid as I walk you through the highs and lows of what you call the New York session. Now we are still wicking. We are still forming some bottom wicks, some bottoming wicks, but we are also below this daily gap low. So in my perspective, we're weak. We're weak on the day. We're about to complete that H pattern. Let's see it. Let's see if we can get it. Quite resistant. It's quite resistant. Let me tell you that. So can we get it or not is the question. Can we get the lower low? It's shaping up to be one of those days. You know, sometimes the market has them where there's not a lot of momentum to either side. It's just a lot of failed movement. So with this, I'm really hoping we can get a lower low on the 30-second chart within the next handful of candles, because for this to want to go here, it's going to make the 5-minute look extremely ugly. It means it's something I don't want to be involved in. I want this to just break the lows, give us that nice little sell off. It already showed that it wanted to start with some weakness. So let's just complete the cycle. And yeah, let's see what we got. Can we get the lower low is the question. We rejected both VWAPs, both the overnight VWAP earlier and then the RTH VWAP. I really would need this to just show some weakness at the lows for once. This has just been that type of market where even if it's weak, it wants to bounce pretty aggressively. This should not be happening. It should just want to move. So the bearish thesis, it fades every second that it holds. Every second we hold down here, the more I'm starting to think, is this maybe some sort of failed break? But if we can start to print lower lows, that's what I'm looking for. Just a lower low. If we can have one candle close lower, that's a good indication that we're in the right trade. ES still holding down. Okay, now we're starting to see maybe something, right? We have 35 seconds left. We just need not a wick. So target set at 600 and then 500. We'll see. People say trading's fun. Trading can be easy. Is it fun? Sometimes. Days like this, not really. Not all that fun. Anyhow, if you like seeing the live breakdowns, if you enjoy this, if you enjoy the streams, first time checking out, drop a comment, leave a question. I read everything in chat, answer every question. But as we approach lower day, let's see if we get this push. Let's see if we get the move. This is what I mean when I say making lower lows. This is what you want to see. You want to see this happening. So at this point, I don't know. We'll see if we get the actual low. Try to stop a little bit, I guess. Yeah, I already know it's to be one of those days. I can't afford to have it under the low. It's got to be in front of the low. And even then, it's probably not going to hit it. I just have this feeling, you know, when I see it just not do it, I have a feeling it's just gonna. You don't always have that feeling, but on a day like this, I have that feeling. Let's see it. Here we are on the 15-second chart, just monitoring the swing highs, swing lows. So we have the swing form, we have this break, and now we need another lower low to complete that run to the lower day. So we want these to be shallow, these retracements. We don't want to be too deep. If we're even looking from here to here, you want it to stay under that 50%. And as we saw before this thing kind of popped up, it's rallying pretty aggressively. So what did I just say like 2 seconds ago? I had a feeling it's gonna be one of those days. But this right here, this type of action. It's like, what do you want me to do with that? It's like, what do you want me to do with that? Really? What do you want me to fucking do? So happens, it happens, but realistically, I don't really have any sort of, I don't know, what am I supposed to do with this? It's completely invalidating. We're swinging 20 points at a time. It's not like we're just barely moving. So this is probably going to take the partial stop. Unfortunately, I mean, unless it rejects right here really aggressively. Let's see it. Make or break time, baby. Let's get it. Let's get it. This is what makes trading what it is. Alrighty, so we need this to reject at this area. We're still below daily gap low. ES is still below VWAP. We're still trending down. It's just been a very high resistance, pull your hair out kind of day. In my book, this from here to here shouldn't be difficult. It should happen in, I don't know, 5 minutes. It shouldn't take 20. from the first time it gets in this area to now, it's like it should not take this long. So that just means we have to be a little more patient, which is fine, but nah, not really, you know? When price is stubborn, you have two options. You either give it more time or more room. And in a scenario like this, it's like, I could give it more time, sure. But it has to keep making these lower lows. Otherwise, I'm not going to give it more room for risk. There's no point. Yeah, this 5 minute really should have closed weaker. Of course. It'll be strong enough to not go down, but it's still hard to buy this. I have no method to buy this right here, you know, and watch it still kind of want to go up. That's where it gets tricky, when it's like not strong enough to be bullish, but it's too strong to be bearish. Because mind you, this isn't like a home run trade I'm going for. It's for a test of low a day. It's really not that crazy. It's like a pretty basic trade for me. Just right here. 40 points. It's a very basic trade. And it's still fighting it to the nail. I mean, can this go up a little and still work? Maybe, right? You have this gap. Maybe I give it a couple points. Maybe I give it to like right here. Give this gap right here. But even then, to me, this just looks like a higher low. So it's like, what's the point, right? What's the point in giving it more room? I mean, as long as it's under the daily gap low, I'm sure it's okay. Maybe give it a couple dollars, right? I'm sure it's okay under here. But come on, convince me. Convince me you're going to work. Otherwise, I got to cut you. I'm just going to bet on the fact that it's holding this bearish gap right here in the 5 minute. That's at least my hope that we're holding that. Need this to close weak, close weak, close weak. Give us a low day test, then maybe one push lower. Embarrassing move. It's an embarrassing move, I'll say that. NQ, you really are moving like ES. I promise nobody's impressed. Anywho, if this is your first stream, checking out the stream, let me know. We stream New York, we'll stream Asia from time to time. Get a little mix of the two in rotation. But right now, we're simply looking for the retest of low a day. So what has happened today? Basically, we walked in with $183 at the start. We made some money on the first short right here. It didn't reach our target. Caught the long, cut it out, like we ended it in profit. Tried another long, took an early stop, and now we're trying the short. So we went back and forth a couple times. Not my favorite type of trading, but the structure is telling a story. We're doing our best to hold out for this retest of low a day. We're not aiming for any sort of home runs. We'll have one partial at low of day, and then we're going to have one runner, one that we trail methodically. But as it currently stands, I just need this partial off at low a day. That's all I need. Like if this happens and then it goes to 24,000 the next candle, I'm cool with that. So what we're going to be doing is watching like this. Stops in profit, right? So this trade's now free. I just need this to break this low and give me that. Like, I mean, honestly, I don't even trust this thing. I might just take it off like right there. Come on. There we go. Cool. All right. So now we're back to $222 on the day. That's pretty much near the high mark of the day. I believe. Maybe we're at 270 at best. Maybe, I don't think we're at 300. I think we're at 270 at best. So with our open profit, we are technically back at the high water mark of the day. We're going to let this last one work. And on every 1 minute candle closure, yeah, like notice this. Look, we didn't even test anywhere near low a day. We tested that spot, sure. But we haven't gotten to the low a day yet. So it's still sketchy. It's still a sketchy trade. But I appreciate everybody for hanging out with us. We're going to keep letting this work just a little bit longer. Hopefully look to get back towards that target in mind. Alrighty, we need the low day break. Can we do it? If we break low a day, I'm going to ask for you guys to leave a like. Really appreciate all you coming through, checking it out, hanging out. Again, we will be doing giveaways. We'll be doing more giveaways next week as well. Just get the stream to 25 likes. Let's get it kind of moving in the right direction. And we'll be doing an account giveaway. As we approach low a day, we're just going to keep watching this. Let's see it into low a day. We're almost there. Can we break low of day? I wonder how many times I've said low a day today. I need a low a day counter. Low of day. Cool. Next target is going to be 500 if we can get it, right? I think if we break this, we should see some sort of momentum, right? So we have one level right below us. We do have, this is the, I'm going to call this the FOMC high right here. FOMC high. So this level is going to be significant. I want you guys to pay attention to this. If we break low of day, right? If we do some miracle, right? If we break low of day, we have the FOMC high right there. Why does that matter? Well, simply put, there's a lot of volume that happened there. There's a lot of noise, a lot of activity that was associated with making this high a day. It's politically charged. It's a toxic level. No, but seriously, this is a level where a lot has happened, right? We had all this hype into it. We had all the reaction, and then we had all the invalidation of that with earnings. So FOMC high is an important level. Anything that's a data point, a wick, anything associated with that type of stuff, that's going to be massive for your trading because price isn't going to just forget about that. Like that was a significant point yesterday. It's a very significant point. We sold off, we rallied, we swept out these highs, then we sold off again. So we're destroying all the liquidity to the upside, taking it down and then breaking it up again. People are going to have an opinion about that. So here we are, low a day. Cool, we're going to trail this a little bit. We're trailing in profit. Keep this moving in the right direction. What a long trade. I'm telling you, for what it was, for the short right here to the exit right here, I'm telling you, it was not worth it. That was ridiculous. We're talking, I mean, it's 50 points, 40 points or something on our exit in 30 minutes. That's 1 point per minute. Like, you know what I mean? 2 points per minute, 1 point per minute on NQ. That's honestly, it's kind of crazy to hear. Markets shouldn't be moving this slow. Alrighty. So what we're doing this time is we are managing the trade. Just like always, right? We're managing it. We're hoping for this to go below low a day, not just the wick below low of day. So $222 on the day. We walked in with 180. We got up to about 270, I believe. Had one loss right here. It was a decent sized loss. It was a partial stop on the long, and then now we're trying the short. That just doesn't go lower. Here's okay if it sweeps. Like this, to me, it makes sense if it doesn't go below here. But when it's bouncing right here and stuff, that genuinely doesn't make sense to me as much. So watch on the 15-second chart. As you guys know, I like pulling these charts up, not because I like the patterns, the candlesticks, not because of any of that, because I like looking at the swing points. So you see a swing here, all this stuff. You see the swing highs and the swing lows. Remember, the 15-second chart isn't a second chart. It's just a minute candle split into 4. That's all these are. These are minute candles split into 4. So you can see the swing points easier. You get, technically, you have 4 data points per 1 minute candle in that sense. I'm not looking at patterns and stuff. I'm looking at structure. So you see it here on the, you can see the swing points here, see them here. You see one here technically, but when you drop it to the 15 second, you really do see that stair stepping down. You see you see all this, the detail. Stuff people call noise. It's not noise. It's not noise. Not one bit. It's not one bit noise. Just compare, right? You have this 1 minute right here. Cool. But right here, I'm starting to see this as a structure kind of shift. You get a sweep, like it pushes higher, breaks this little point. It's starting to hold right here. Are we going to break this structure to the upside? That's a good question. We could give this a little room. I think maybe give it a little room, maybe to 40, just in case it wants to kind of wick above. I think until 40 is good. 40 is a good spot. So anywho, this is the same chart. This 15-second chart's the same as a 1 minute chart. This is exactly what I use it for, just to see, are we actually forming a swing? Because on this chart, it's one candle. Right here, you see a couple candles. So you see that swing forming. You see it wants to break that right there. Details. But I won't bog you down with that. That's just something that I personally use. If that's something that makes sense to you, feel free to check it out. But no, I'm not here to tell anyone what they have to do. I'm just showing you what I do. Showing you how it works, showing you when it works, and showing you ultimately when it doesn't. So I think today was a good example of a lot of the least favorable conditions, but we're still making do with what we got. Alrighty. Let's see that lower low be made right here, guys. If we get another lower low, we should be okay for a next leg lower. As you guys already know, our next leg lower, we're going to be looking to trade to about that 500 mark. Why that 500 mark? Well, simply put, yesterday's VWAP is a pretty good reference. The psychological level, right? You see prior day VWAP. This is a prior day VWAP. You guys are unfamiliar with how I do my charts. We have the VWAPs that are split by session just based on the type of VWAP I use. So it shows me pretty easily. I can see this is prior day VWAP. I don't need an indication for it. Prior day VWAPs right here. We had the FOMC high. So we got to break through FOMC high. And all of this is earnings. This is an earnings imbalance. So yeah, that's the premise there. We're drifting lower though. We are drifting lower. I promise you that. I'm going to take a quick glance over at VIX. Let's see if we can get a good read on what VIX is doing. Microsoft completely failing the gap. What a fade. Talk about a fade. Let's see what VIX is doing. Are we up on VIX on the day? Doesn't seem like VIX has done anything, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, like gap down. It's up a little bit, right? It's up a little bit. But we haven't seen any sort of momentum there. VIX, if you're unfamiliar, is a volatility index, namely for S&P 500, but overall it's used as a good indication. It's a good barometer, a good test to see if things are actually, scary, if there's panic in the market. It also affects options pricing. If you're unfamiliar, that's where I started trading options for many years, then just recently rotated in the last couple into futures. Alrighty, cool. So we're seeing that momentum, kinda, maybe. Got a couple candles in a row. Not going to speak too soon. Trail right here, prior swing high. So our trail's at 30, 31. Let's see if we could do 30. Yeah, our trail's at 30. I like it at 30. Have we tested FOMC high? Not yet. We haven't even got there. So I'm going to look at the 15-second again. I want to see how we're interacting with this session low. Looks like we're kind of bidding there. Yeah, we're bidding off the New York low. Okay, so important to reference. Are we moving our stop too soon? Is that the question? I think we might be. We'll just give it to the 38. Dang it, moved it too soon. making it even 40 actually. Since I took a partial off already at the lows, I'm okay giving it a little more room on the trail right now, just because we really haven't broken the downside structure that we're looking for. We need to really break this New York low for me to be super confident with trailing. Otherwise, it's simply just me rushing the trade, which there are times where I want to do that, but here I don't necessarily want to, and there's for a couple of reasons. Number one, we just started the next 15-minute candle, and also we have just exactly one candle until the new hourly candle. So with those two pieces of information in mind, I want to be very cognizant of the fact that we can wait right here until the next hour opens and then still wick up and then close lower. So it's all about understanding the sequence of price. If we're getting closer to a significant, and again, this is the stuff that I recommend writing down. Add this to your notes. If you're getting to the point where you're approaching a new large candle, hourly, 4-hour, even 30-minute, if you're a couple minutes before that, do your best to hang into the trade because it might need to kind of wiggle and do its nonsense, close, and then open with the wick just to drop. So it's all about sequencing. Open, high, low, close. That's what an algorithm is. It's a set of steps. That's what I refer to when I say that stuff. It's not because of some methodical, like some, hidden conspiracy. It's simply the fact that there's a step-by-step process to how price works. There's a sequence. It's a numerical. You can count it, right? Open, high, low, close. That's 4 steps to it. They happen in a certain order. Alrighty, cool. So now we're trailing. Now we're at the swing point. This is a beautiful short. I do think we could get prior to VWAP, but man, what a fight. This thing has really been kind of testing my fortitude, my patience, my nerve. It's definitely been getting on my nerves, I will say that. All right, I think I'm personally watching this one on the 30-second. I think 30 seconds going to be the cleanest for me right now. We're at the FOMC high. This is kind of a make or break point. I will probably move this right here, 26. I think 26 is a good trail. It's a significant swing point on the lower time frame. 28. It's okay if I get stopped. It's okay if I get stopped. If it bounce here and I get stopped, then I'm okay with it. This could constitute an SMT if that is the case. So ES is not at low a day. NQ is just below it. We're at the FOMC high. I want you guys to watch how we react here. It's not going to be as if there's no level, friends. Because if you go here, you go 15-minute chart. This is why it matters, because if you look at yesterday, you go RTH. We're at pretty much yesterday's high. This is definitely the afternoon high. We have a little bit of a higher high right here, but we're at yesterday's high essentially. So that's why we've been in such a grindy situation. We're trapped in this upper portion of the range. We're trying to see if we're going to bid here, right? Because we could, you could be looking at this yesterday's opening range like this. You see, we're inside yesterday's opening range with the RTH. Million different ways you could cut this. You could look at it a few different ways, right? So I'll make this orange, kind of give you a good reference that we are inside of yesterday's opening range. Yeah, prior day opening range high, prior day opening range low. If you ever need to label stuff, this is how I do it. So I'm looking at a level. I'm going to go prior day, whatever it is, and then I'm going to go the high or the low. Prior day, opening range high, prior day, opening range low. We're below today's New York low, right? Open range high is there. So now we have FOMC high and then the opening range low over there. So that's how I'm doing it. I think it's a pretty good way to do it. Oh, sorry, here. Where's it? Yeah. So we want that stair step. Just keep stair stepping. Any sort of displacement will be good for us. We just want to see it kind of work its magic. So even with a grindier type of move, we're still able to manage our profits accordingly because it gives us a lot of swing points to kind of reference. We have our key levels of interest. We understand New York lows there. The FOMC high from yesterday is here. If we bid here, we know that we want to be out up here. And this New York low, we want to see it hold below if we are still bearish. So any sort of push lower, we want to trail. And then any sort of push higher, we kind of want to be out of the trade. It's been kind of a sideways move, gotten in over here. And now we're just writing it down as much as we can. And we're bidding. Looks like we're bidding. Another reason as to why I don't like shorting. Just moves slow sometimes. But hey, slow works. Slow can work. New lows being made. I'm happy. I'm happy with new lows a day. I will ask though, for every new low we make, we should get a new like on the stream. Leave a like if you like the stream. I know it's easy to kind of forget or whatever, but it actually does a lot for the channel. It does more than you can imagine. We're talking about algorithms. Social media is one giant one. And for YouTube, likes matter, shares matter. Not every platform cares about likes. YouTube does. Hit the bell, do all that good stuff. Subscribe, get notified for every other stream coming up in the future. Look at this, just downward displacement. Here we are. Now we're happy. Now we're happy. See, now we feel like we're in the driver's seat. We're going to ride this down till prior day VWAP. That's our goal. Prior day VWAP. Let's get it, baby. Prior day VWAP. We're riding. We're rolling through this together. Who else is in this trade? Let me know. Let me know if you're in this trade also. 13. Just trailing my stop. Just trailing my stop little by little, right? This really can be a runner. I mean, maybe this is a day where we go below 330, after kind of just faking everybody out. That would be probably the craziest thing I've seen. See what the 1 minute looks like, guys. All right, this 1 minute looks good. We're starting to see some displacement below the session lows. It's good. It's starting to get, at least. It's starting to look a little okay. Things might not be so bad. But again, we could still get stopped out right here, and we're cool with that. If we get stopped out right here, I believe we will be at equity highs for the day. I believe we're just about there. Probably put it right here. Yeah, tighten it. Cool. So I think we'll be up $300 on the day, if my math is correct. It looks like, well, yeah, we'll be at $300 on the day. I'm okay with this. You got to start thinking, if we do bounce, where can we bounce? Maybe it's going to be in this area. Maybe it's there. Maybe it's right here where we're at, Maybe that's where we get stopped. However, that's why we trail. Because if not, and it keeps going and we get another candle to the downside, then we're in a good spot. We can profit from that. This hourly chart is looking quite hilarious. We're going to go ahead and get the ETH up. Wow. Talk about a round trip. All right. So we're going to basically take this thing to the graveyard. That's the goal. That's the goal for this. Yeah. Talk about a move. Wow. Talk about a round trip. We have all these levels. We have all these levels up here. We're going to try to simplify. So I'm good with the Asia opening range low. I don't need that anymore. It's not relevant to me anymore. I don't need the Asia opening range high. I give up on it. I don't need this first presented fair value gap level. Daily gap high. Did this get moved? Oh, daily gap high. Yeah, no, that got moved a little bit. So I'm going to leave this here, daily gap high. I'm going to get rid of all-time highs. I'm going to leave midnight open because I think that's going to be quite literally the best level on the chart. Prior day opening range high. I think I'm good with you. I think you served your purpose. New York low, I'm good with you. And I'm just going to keep prior day opening range low for now. And then FOMC high. FOMC high, I'll leave on the chart. This gap as well, this inversion, I'm going to leave this because that's what I got in on. That was the entry I took. I took the inversion entry. I took an entry here based on this guy. And it was also in confluence with a couple other things. VWAP, I'm going to be real with you. I don't need VWAP anymore because price is so far away from it, it's not relevant. Declutter your charts. You know, we just took 10 levels off our charts. They helped us while they were, you know, while we needed them, but we don't need them anymore. I'm done with that. I don't need levels on my chart just to distract me. So as you guys can see, we're kind of in the driver's seat now. We were kind of going through it a little bit. This was a little bit of a grindy move to low a day. We got one partial off and we're riding one more. Our goal is to take this down to the 500 level, put us closer to $600 on the day. If you're liking the stream, leave a like. Let me know what you think, and we'll keep this ball rolling. As this continues to make lower lows through this opening range low, we will actually trail to under 600, probably the 580 mark. I think that would be a very, very, very good level for us to trail to. Talk about a TGIF on a Thursday. It's nice to see. Nice to see some downside movement, but man, what a fight for this. Yeah, move this right here. Okay, so now we're trailed at 604. Next stop will be 580 on the trail. This will be next trail. Right there, like 581. But for now, I think we're good here. I think we're good at 604. 604 feels reasonable, feels safe, feels conservative, feels good. I think we'll be all right. At this point, I'm okay with any sort of exit. You know, we don't have to get the full target. We're about halfway there, 150 bucks of the 300. So don't get me wrong, it's possible. We can absolutely do it, and I'll hang out for it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I'm cool with whatever we got today. We'll be up about 330 on the day pretty soon. So yeah, now we'll be up 320 no matter what. I think that's a good spot to be. 320 on the day is a good day. We basically added like, I don't know, a little over 100 bucks. Start at 180. Be nice to get up to the total 500 for the day or whatever, but we'll see. Not every day is going to give you those runners. It's been a minute since we've had a trend day, so I don't doubt it. I don't doubt the strength now, but it was a little sketchy for a minute, you know? Yeah, we're approaching it kind of quick, not going to lie. Opening range low. This is that opening range low we talked about from prior day. Prior day opening range low. See how we're reacting here. You want to see this kind of cut through. Let's see. What is it? Be an extra $80 or something? What would that look like? 380. So right now I'm kind of weighing out what it would look like to go for the extra little amount. So the reason I'm saying that is because on these 50K accounts, Top One Futures, by the way, 55% off, code DTA gets you the biggest discount. There's a consistency rule. So the consistency rule basically kind of sums up to the idea you don't want to make more than 600 on a day for these 50K accounts because it'll push back that payout. So if we get closer to 600, that'd be cool. but I'm not necessarily forcing. I'm okay with when I see this hit 300, I'm cool with that. We're just going to give it a little extra room. So now we can actually trail past that. We're going to trail here. Go right here. 73, no, 74. 74 is my number. We're under the prior day opening range low with New York. And now we're continuing lower. So we just want to keep trailing that stop. 75. Cool. Just keep trailing that stop. I'm going to make this 75 also right here. 75. 75 is a good spot for me. I like it. I like it. I think it's weak. I mean, what did we do? Just open a new hour or something? Yeah, we just opened the new hour. Okay. Interesting. We'll watch this. If the new hours, yeah, here's the new hour. We want this to hold below here. Maybe I make this 80. I think 80 is a little better. Make it 80. So remember what we were saying about that hourly candle opening? It needs to push up off the open. That's why I thought, maybe it's a new hour. It needs to push up, form a wick. I just don't want it to dig too deep because I don't want it to be a reversal off of this level. So a little bit of a wick's good. We need to give it a little bit of room. Watch it right here. You see, every push higher leaves behind that little wick when it pulls back. So if we push up to here, that's cool. If we push up to here, probably just get out of the trade. I mean, realistically, it could push all the way to this one right here. This is going to be your, I call this your initial balance low right here, first hour. So it could push all the way to the initial balance low. I don't want it to. I'm not trying to hang out for all that. We're trying to maximize the move, but not give back everything. No point. There's your initial balance low. So it's okay if we get stopped here. I'm okay with it. 580 is a good place to have a stop. Look at the 15-second chart. If we see it's ramping, yeah, it looks like it's ramping a little bit. So meaning it sold off like real aggressive, and now it's kind of rebidding it aggressive. To me, this could be an inflection point. It could hold here. There's no bottom wick on this hour candle, so I don't think it's done going down. Normally, you want to see some sort of tail, not just a complete flat bottom. But yeah, look, it's kind of just digging back here. Maybe it's going to take out some liquidity. Maybe let's go 84. I'll go 84 just to be a little conservative. 84 is probably healthy. Just give it enough room to maybe have to sweep something. Sweep some late short. You know, someone got short here and they got knocked out right there. So if it rolls, it makes sense. That's context. I expect new lows. I expect new lows a day. I expect new lows. So any sort of push back below 552, low a day, I'm trailing it right above that swing point that's formed on the 15-second chart. Pulled up on the 30-second chart because I know a lot of you guys will never look this low, which is fine. This is just something I do. These are just minute candles to me. So if this can hold, if this can start to break structure to the downside right here, then the trail is very clear to me right here. But right here, as it stands, if it holds, it's going to just come, it's going to run for some of this. Maybe FOMC high. I just can't risk it. I can't, yeah, I'm good with being out of the trade. I can't risk it if it wants to go back to the daily gap or something like that. I'm good on all that noise. So there we go. Made back some of what we lost. We're up to 350 on the day. So we're up about almost $200 from where we started. We started about 180. Now we're at 350. So I do think this is about a good spot to kind of wrap it up. I know you guys, are sticking around and we appreciate that. I appreciate you hanging out with me. We'll wrap it up about here. So again, yeah, 350 on the day. Boom. Can't really complain about that. So all done on Top One Futures, trading on Project X. This is genuinely my favorite platform. I think it's super easy to use. Risk settings are nice. Lockout feature. So we're done there. I'm done. I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys for hanging out. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, get notified for the next time we stream. We'll be live tomorrow, maybe this afternoon as well for Asia. So if you are around, come in. And as always, in the description, Top One Futures running their promo right now, 55% off any account. Instant funded are my favorite way to go. But yeah, until next time, remember, decipher the algo.